Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Schwartz. Today we're going to be looking at this beautiful skid steer. It is a Gehl 4600 and it's red. Now I bought this to help, if you watched my last video, to help with the moving of dirting arounding and whatnot and stuff like that. But basically I picked it up below average priced because there was issues with it. First off, it wouldn't stay running while it was running, and it ended up being that there was like a lot of the gaskets and O-rings and stuff on the fuel filter were in the wrong spot, and I had a marvelous time trying to figure out, is there an echo in here? Echo. Hopefully you can't hear that, but I had a marvelous time trying to figure it out because it's a diesel. And so if you know anything about diesels, the fuel has to be like pressurized and stuff, or like there can't be air in the lines, stuff like that. So I had to bleed it and it just would not. And it was cold out and it didn't want to start. And finally I've got it going, because then I put the O-rings back in the wrong spot too. One of them around the top of it, blocking off fuel, whatever. Never mind. But oh, it's dark in here all of a sudden. And I'll put this light on. Oh, that's gonna look spooky, huh? And so now that that's all figured out and I know it runs, it doesn't turn off, so you have to put this brake fluid bottle in the intake to like block off air so that it turns off. And it was because the fuel shut off knob was frozen, or not frozen, but like, rotted, rusted tight, whatever. And so I put in a new knob and cable going back to the fuel shut off. This is the muffler. I was just hitting it to hit it, but so I replaced that cable. And it moves, and the shutoff moves, and it still doesn't shut off. So that's what I'm gonna be starting with, is getting in here, and I'll kind of show you. I gotta be careful though, because this charger is hanging here by a zip tie, not doing anything. But oh, and this thing is I soldered this thing to the core block heater thingy bobber so that it starts easier in the winter, but I haven't really ran it because of not needing to, I guess. But come on, there we go. So if you look, let's see where you are. Can't really see it, but if you look down in here, that's where the fuel injector pump is, and the fuel shutoff valve is right on there. And this thing's pretty old. It's like a 80s something, I think. And so it doesn't have the solenoid to do it, like an electric solenoid to shut off the fuel. It's on an actual valve, but there's a little lever, I guess you could call it, inside of there. I have to get in there and line up the little pin. It'll all make sense once I'm in there, because I kind of saw like pictures of it and stuff. But first I'm going to take off this whole exhaust manifold and muffler here, because I could probably do it without taking it off, but I want to get in there and see what's going on so I don't mess it up like the last guy did. And then hopefully that's what the problem is. My goodness, it's windy out today. So let's hope, oh, that one's loose. Let's hope I can get these off without snapping any of them. But yeah, I was just bleeding and bleeding and bleeding when I was trying to get this going. Wow, all these are like finger tight on here. Holy cow. I'm thoroughly surprised. But yeah, the guy I got it from claimed he took this into like an actual mechanic, like a farm mechanic place. And I just can't believe that like none of this stuff was installed right on the like fuel filter thing, like all the gaskets. Like one was in the wrong place. One wasn't even like on there. What does this go to? And it was just like, that's how it was running, is because it was seeping past. Like it wasn't even going through the fuel filter, it was seeping past everything. And so you'd have to keep pumping it like on the primer to squeeze it past there. And that's how it would stay running. But there's one. Two. All right. Holy cow, there's so much room in here now.
So many activities!
Oh, getting a phone call. So for this next part, I really don't want to, but I think I'm gonna have to. Let's see if I can get you guys in there. This top, like the red cap looking thing, that whole cover has to come off. I think I'm gonna have to remove this line, and then this feed line, and probably this guy. I think I'm gonna have to remove all those, because once these two nuts come off that you can't see because the shadow is blocking the light, that cap has to come up, and I don't think it'll be able to do that with that there. But I don't feel like doing that, so I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try to loosen those up and pick it up enough that I can see that rod in there, and hopefully I can just fix the issue right there. Let's see what happens, I guess. So I got the nuts off of there. and sorry for the bad camera angles. There's not really a good way to do the work and have you guys in here, but if I raise you up a little. But yeah, so got the 2 nuts off of here, and one thing to keep in mind when doing this is actually filled with diesel, so it's, once you take this off, it's going to be spilling everywhere. And I'm trying to catch as much as I can with paper towel, but it's kind of inevitable that it's going to be all over the place. So, and actually, since this is full of air anyways, I might just take the lines off too, because this isn't working like I thought it was maybe gonna. And actually, the only line that's really in the way is this one. And I don't know if I've had that one off. All right, here we go. So I got, I apologize, it's cold outside, so I might be sniffling a lot. I try to edit those out, but sometimes if I miss one or forget or something. Anyways, you know, it's crazy that when you have, oh, it's bright. When you have the right wrench to do the job, it goes easier, because I was using smaller wrenches that are like shorter, I guess you could say, wrenches that were not pipe wrenches like you should be using on, not pipe, what is this thing called? Double end flare nut wrenches. You know, they weren't those. So it wasn't going as easy. I couldn't get it loose, and I was afraid of rounding the nuts, so I went and got these from the back. Then in the meantime, I was outside playing, putting, or tying more of the tarp down to the top of my garage in a box, because that's currently like flying away from all the wind outside, but nevertheless, I think I got it. So we're gonna try to take this off once again, and then I'll probably have to stop and take these off too anyways, but we're just gonna try it anyway. Alright, so I got it off. Now I can't see in there though. Maybe I can use my phone as a mirror, kind of see what's going on in there. There's all that diesel I got. So I can kind of see what's going on, kind of not really. Plus it's hard because like everything is mirrored. I think I'm gonna, just so I don't get it wrong, I think I'm just gonna take everything off, unfortunately. Unless I can slide it out if I just take this thing itself off. Oh, come on. Oh, there's a spring in there too, I forgot about. Oh, there's that thing. I don't know if you can see that. This is all gonna fall apart. I'll try to get you in there though. Tilt you like that. Oh, okay. So if you can see, I'll try to circle it, but that little knob right there, whatever you want to call it, that's what, there's like a ball on the bottom of the fuel shutoff thing that has to go in there. Oh, now you're looking that way because the charger fell. Boy, it's just a mess right now, huh? Alright, so that's there. I have to think about where I would want this, because this comes down. Should just act like it's forward. Push that. Uh-oh. So now if I move it back and pick it up, if it's on the back, then I know. It's kind of hard to tell actually if it moved back or not. So now I can actually hear it in there moving. So I think I'm gonna call that good. And then I might hook up the heater and try to get this thing started, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Alright, so I got everything I took apart, put back together, but I forgot that, oh, that looks like that needs a new hose. While I was renting, I remembered that the starter is like completely loose, like all of the bolts or all the nuts are hardly holding on. I'll probably wiggle it by hand if I tried, but so I'm gonna try to, I don't know if I want to plug it in while I'm doing that, or I don't know, we'll see. But basically I want to get those nuts tightened back up before I try starting it, because obviously the starter is what starts it, and yeah, I think the rest is self-explanatory. So these guys just open up, and then I should be able to maybe squeeze in there with my arm to get the nuts on the starter. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, I had a little bit of a scare because before I started to tighten the nuts on the starter, I decided to bleed it a little bit just in case there was not much air in there. Then I don't know. I figured maybe the fuel wouldn't leak back down or something and air get in there, whatever. I don't know. But I decided to bleed it, so I did. And there was a little problem with that because I started hearing it spray out or squirt out, and I didn't. It wasn't out of the bleeder that I had opened. So I was like, well, that's concerning. And turns out there's like a felt gasket between the cover that I took off and the injector pump itself. And that was like ripped. And part of it was hanging out. The rest was where it was supposed to be. So I'll try to find another one of those. But for now, I just tucked it back in. And it doesn't seem to be leaking. But I don't know how I definitely don't trust that that's not going to start to leak. And so I'm gonna try to order one. But then after that, I got 2 of the starter bolts or nuts. I don't know. It just keep calling it what it's not, you know. And so yeah, I got 2 of the starter bolts. Geez, I did it again. I took 2 of the starter nuts and got those tightened up, and then I went and found another one because the one on the bottom was just completely gone. There wasn't room on the threads for a lock nut though, unfortunately. And it kept tightening, and I don't know if the stud was loose too, because I don't know. It kept tightening, but it wasn't getting further on the threads. But whatever. I don't know. I just work here. I don't even work here. Whatever. So yeah, that's that story, and it's. Oh, I took my watch off to fit my arm in there. Whatever time it is, that's the time it is, and I don't feel like dealing with it right now, because then I have to wait for this to heat up, and then the battery's probably going to be dead, and yeah, I just don't feel like dealing with it. So for now, I'm going to go in and get cleaned up. I got all dirty climbing in there. I'll probably have to wash this coat, because this is my everyday coat. Probably throw these gloves in too, but yeah, get cleaned up, edit some of that other video that I made. I actually have like 3 videos that I have to edit. I'm pretty behind on editing, but yeah, so before the end of this video, I'll be sure to start this thing up though. But yeah, so it's a little warmer out than the last time you've seen me, but what's going on here is I'm going to be changing out one of the cylinders, or not the cylinder, but like the seal. Oh, I forgot to grab that. I'll have to go back inside, I guess. But anyway, so what's going on here is I was gonna just pick it up, and then there's see this arm down here that was on this side, and it was like bolted into here, and then it was just like pinned up so that when you pick up the thingamabobber itself, then you can just put it down, and then it'll like rest on here so that you can service it while it's up in the air like that. But this is the side that I need to do the servicing on, so I was just gonna swap it over to this side, call it a day. But there's like this little rib in here, and you probably can't see it, but it's just like a little extra piece that they welded in there. I don't know if it's so you can't put that on the wrong side or something. I don't know what's going on, but I couldn't get it in there, so now what I'm gonna try to do is get it running. And I was just gonna pick it up just by starting it and not worry about actually starting it. But the plan now is I'll have to pick that bucket back up, but I'll like get the skid steer up here and put this on top of the backhoe on the tractor, and then hopefully, and I'll probably like strap it on there or something. Well, hopefully that's high enough that I can take this pin out and then bring this part down and scoot it out the front. Like this part has to come out so I can get in there and stuff. But right now, just waiting for the heater to heat up, and I think it's working, but it might be working too good. I don't know if it doesn't really sound like it's turning off at the temperature it's supposed to turn off at. I don't know if you can like hear it boiling in there, but hopefully it's not gonna hurt anything. I don't know. Well, I'll give it a little bit yet, and then try to start it and see if I can do everything that I just spoke about just now. So we learned a couple things just there. It did take a little while for that to get started. I hope you can hear me all right. I don't think, yeah, that's not plugged in, but it did take a little while for it to get started. I had to have it on the charger and stuff, and it took some good amount of starting fluid and whatnot. But I'm thinking now that the air was all bled out of it, because I didn't really feel like dealing with bleeding each one and stuff. And yeah, I don't want to hear it. Anyways, I got it up on here. Hopefully, I put it off to the side because like I wanted this little space right here to be able to pull this out of, and I noticed it's kind of tipping a little bit. I should really pick that up, I guess, but oh yeah, I skipped right over what I was gonna. So we learned a couple things, because for one, what was the first one? I remember the second one. Should I just cover that one? I'll just cover that one. That new cable that we put in, and then, well, I put it in, you guys were watching lazy, but then the cable that goes back to the fuel shutoff, that cable, it worked. That's how I just turned it off just now. And it shut off the fuel, the unit turned off, and so yeah, that's good news. So I don't have to use the brake cleaner bottle anymore to stuff it in there to shut it off. Number 2. Well, that was number 2. What was the first one? Or was that number 2? I can't remember. I didn't really number them. Oh, I remember that. So that gasket in there is holding up good enough that it wasn't leaking, and it can apparently run even though it was not completely intact. So anyways, without further ado, I think we're gonna get into this thing. Probably shouldn't stand under it. Because this thing, is this in park? Because this could roll, that could just whoop, and then this is gonna end up on top of me. So there's a little change of plans here. Sorry for it being so dark in here. It's getting late in the day. Which brings me to my next point. I'm probably not doing this today because it's getting dark and later in the day. But basically, when I had this resting on here, I don't know the correct terminology, but basically the shaft was still down in there quite a ways, so I'd have all that fluid to deal with. So I have it up like this. I don't know if that's going to be good enough to work on or not, but I don't know. I think it should be fine. And then, but that way I just don't have as much fluid because the ram will be all the way to the top, so I don't have to try to drain it or soak it up with something. And then this way it's for sure high enough too. But yeah, so we'll see if it's still here when I get back. Then it should be safe enough to work under. But also with it still being like I didn't move the skid steer itself in relation to the top of this guy. So if it does fall while I'm working on it and I'm some for reason under it, then it'll land on here and not crush me. It's a win-win. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. All right, so I think I'm ready to go now. I don't know. This has been up here for a while, so I don't think it'll fall, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could put another something on this side actually. All right, so basically okay, now I think I'm ready. I spent like forever like going back and forth because this is out in the shed and I don't really, it's my dad, so I don't have tools out here. But anyway, so first thing, I already did this, but I'll just reenact it since I didn't record it. But basically, I wanted to make sure I could get this off so I didn't have to go and get a bigger pipe wrench. But I have this little guy and I was like, you know, that's probably not going to be big enough. So I tried it with this thing and it worked. So now it's loose. But yeah, so that'll have to come off. And then there's a little pin, or not a pin, what's that thing called? Snap ring. Yeah, this kit that I got from Harbor Freight, obviously, a long time ago. I never opened it. I guess I can cut this part out. So I just gotta switch this around somehow. So I think I'll just get that pin out and then this whole thing should go down. Oh, there she went. Thought that was gonna be stuck in there. So I don't know how big of a mess this is gonna make. So I got some paper towel here. And really any paper towel should work, but you're gonna wanna go with like Georgia Pacific products. No reason in particular, just, you know, like Brawny, Sparkle. Yeah, you're gonna wanna go with Georgia Pacific. No reason in particular, it's just, you know. I think I'm gonna get a strap or something to hold this up with. There, that should work. All right, so now, I think for this part, I'm gonna put these, where'd they go? In my pocket. These things on. Not because I'm afraid of touching the oil, I just don't really feel like it. Whoop, and I believe this just pulls out. We're getting closer. Okay, so it's under suction, which means I would have to loosen the bottom one. But that's where the oil is going to come out of, unless I pull back on this. Alright, well I guess we're going to have a mess then. Yeah, I thought that just comes out. I mean, it makes sense that there's suction there, but if I'm pulling back on this, I don't know. Oh, come on. I imagine if I started this and just did it that way, it'd probably come out, but I don't know if I want to do that. Now it's coming. I don't know what I did differently. So now we'll have to take that nut off of there. Looks like this has been changed before. And then, oh, this O-ring is disintegrated. But yeah, so we'll take that off and change out all these seals and everything. Alright, so I got myself a nice and clean workbench here, and I have that end in the vise. I have new gloves, they're nice and blue. For some reason I got large, size large, even though I'm extra large, and it's not as thick as the other ones I had, but I don't know, I only have one left of those, so I don't know how that happened. Out of a pack of 50, I have one left, but anyways, just gonna pop this guy off here. And this should just slide off. Hopefully I can remember the way this stuff goes. Forgot to grab the pick. I'll be right back again. Alright, hopefully this is the last time that I have to go looking for something. But so after looking at this a little bit, it looks like, I don't really know where. This one did have two of these like flat washers on here, so I don't know if they're like one on each side of this maybe, or I don't know how they expect that to work. And then there's a little one that goes on the end of this shaft, and oh, and then an O-ring for this guy as well. And then there's an O-ring, and then the flat guy on this one. And then on the end, I think that's gonna be this blue one. It kind of looks a little different, but I think that's what it is. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But there's one on the inside too. And actually, I'm gonna pick that one out right now because holy cow, it's so like deteriorated. It's just chunks of stuff. Oh, I should have had this on a workbench. Nice and clean workbench here. So that one's got an O-ring in there, so I think that's gonna be this guy because there's a little O-ring I can see there. Paper towel makes a good knee pad too. Alright, so all the seals are replaced now. Probably could have had that in time lapse. Now I'm going to have to speed it up and whatever else. But yeah, all the seals are replaced. So now we're just going to start assembling it one by one. I was going to, or actually I did try to put this on here already, and that middle lip didn't really want to. But like I didn't want to go over the end of that. So hopefully we can somehow now. Let's get a little more of this hydraulic fluid in here. Yeah, we'll give that a try. So I got that on there after some persuasion. And this guy went on. I'll clean this out a little bit. Not really sure how tight to go with this. But that feels right. Now, we'll just go and put it back in the end of that thingamabobber up there. There, simple as that. Now would probably be a good time to like grease that stuff, like the pins and whatnot, and what else? Oh, and I'll have to put in more hydraulic fluid too. I'm gonna have to Google the difference though, because the stuff I have is like a clear stuff, and the stuff that came out of here is red. So I don't know if there's like a difference in how it's made or something, or I don't know. All right, so I did some research online, and I couldn't really find a whole lot of information about what kind of fluid to put in this thing. I'm trying to talk here. And I ordered a manual for this because I don't have one. But in another forum that was talking about something else with like, I don't know if it was engine oil or what, but in the screenshot of the manual that they had, it had the hydraulic oil type. So for some reason, I mean, it lists a whole bunch of stuff, so whatever. But since the stuff in here was red, I'm gonna use transmission fluid. Now, if you're anything like me, you'd be like, what, transmission fluid for hydraulic stuff? But you know, I guess it makes sense because it's like, a transmission is also like, there's stuff under pressure and whatnot, and you know, it's made of metal. But I also have like this stuff here, which is tractor, trans, and a hydraulic fluid. So like, I would rather use this, I feel like, because it has some of those keywords I want to see, like hydraulic, whereas this doesn't say anything about hydraulics. But whatever, it's fluid, so that's what we'll be using. And yeah, so this should work. I don't know how much to put in here. I don't know where this goes, if there must be like a tank down there or something, but why do I have these on? I can't see anything. But yeah, so I don't know how much this is gonna take. I know when I bought it, the guy said it might be a little low to probably add some. So I got 2 gallons of this stuff. We'll just kind of dump some in until it feels right and then take a measurement. Because I know a lot came out when I changed that seal over there. I don't think we're even on the rod yet. I did some reading and it sounds like the tanks for these things are pretty big. Like one I saw was like 17 gallons or something. So I don't know if that's like all skid steers just have like a huge amount of like, I think there's only one tank. Yeah, I don't know what that thing is. Put a little more in. I can hear it going somewhere. I don't see it going all over the floor. Well, even after we run it for a little bit, we'll still have to add more fluid because some's gonna go into that arm. I'm gonna plug in the block heater while we wait. And I took that back apart. I don't know if, I think that was this video. Well, I only made one video, so it must have been this one, but I soldered this thing to the core block heater thingy bobbers. I took that back apart because it was, just seemed like it was on constantly. I didn't see anything wrong with it. It looked like the thermostat was still touching the metal part, so I guess we'll just kind of see. Still not on there. Good thing I got 2 gallons. Please be on the thing. All right, so I think we're just barely on here now. Just hardly up to that first dot where it's like probably, hey, don't go below this. So I think that's fine. I'll get another transmission fluid thing. All right, let's see if this thing fires up and we'll get it out of here, I guess. All right, I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit and charge. Maybe I'll throw that block heater back on. I have another project that I have to get on to anyway, so we'll just wait a little bit for this guy to go. All right, here we go. 10,000. So close. Oh, I think I forgot to mention, I got the thing, it worked. The thing that I did with the thing to pull the thing so that the fuel shuts off, I fixed that part of it. Whatever I did in there to line up that, oh, it's bright out there. To line up that, whatchamacallit, it worked. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you liked it, check out some of my other videos. There's gonna be more on this thing. I got some accessories for it coming, and I still have to figure out a seat situation. I don't know if that'll be video worthy or not, but yeah, there's some other accessories that are gonna be coming tomorrow. Actually, I'm picking it up, and then some other stuff like implements, if you will. But yeah, if you liked it, check out some of my other videos. Subscribe if you want. Click the little like button down there, the little thumbs up. That'll do something. What else? Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. And toodles.